Yeah.
So
Walking?
you have been walking or not?
No, I have not.
No.
No.
Did you decide that you might like to do something else as well?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea that if I go swimming, that would be good for me.
Yeah. You enjoy that more than walking or something like that?
Yeah.
What
So
about your yoga?
that I have started. I have started again. So that was nice. I followed the.
It makes you feel good?
Yeah, it did some good. I had some trouble with the back, and that helped my back really. So that was good. The good thing is that I'm much more responsible about my food shopping and food preparation. So that is under control. So I'm preparing, I'm planning, so that's much better.
Okay.
So when I get home, I have always something to eat. I don't have to grab the first thing from the closet. So this is working.
You've pre-prepared something then that's easy for you to eat when you get home.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I'm trying to find out what's upsets my stomach. So I'm taking food with me to the office, and I have, taken all the herbs out and all the spices, and I will start tomorrow to put something again, but very little.
So you're keeping things very plain and simple this week then?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
And have you noticed a difference?
Yeah, much better.
Brilliant.
So,
How did your sauerkraut turn out?
so the sauerkraut is a bit hard still. I think there was not enough liquid.
Okay.
So it's eatable, but it's a bit dry.
Okay, maybe if you want, you can put some apple cider vinegar in there.
Yeah, I'll try that.
I mean,
I have tried the kimchi.
yeah,
That is tasting good.
good.
Yeah, and the juice is very nice.
Yeah. Can you imagine eating kimchi regularly then?
Yes, and I could drink the fizzy juice coming out of it.
Great.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Because I mean, that's when you've got a very weak digestive system. That's the best thing to do is actually just drink the fermented juice. You know, that's brilliant. So, how long have you been doing that? A few days?
I've just started it. So because I got it ready yesterday, so I'm just starting it. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and I have been also successful with the probiotics, so that has also been helping.
okay.
So I had a 5 days probiotics, and I really saw a difference.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then once you're starting eating the more potent probiotics foods, because the foods are more potent than the actual probiotic capsules, you might want to reduce the capsules. Just see how that goes. And sometimes the capsules have a different strain of bacteria in them than the foods you're making, so they might complement each other, but you don't want to get too loose in your stomach either. Sometimes if you take too much probiotics, you can get a little bit and gassy that way as well. So just you have to just be very aware.
But I was thinking that switching to fermented food and stopping the probiotics, to not have them both at the same time.
Yeah. And how much of the juice of the kimchi are you drinking?
Well, I've just been drinking half a glass today. That's all.
That's more than enough. That's fine. That's great to start with.
But it's good. It tastes great.
It won't replace your wine yet, but I mean, it is pretty good.
Yeah. Very true. Not replacing yet the wine. Yeah.
Next week we'll make something that, for me, I don't need to drink wine or anything. I'd rather drink my water kefir and things like that. So I'll introduce you to that next week. It's kind of a process, but it's a very, very nice alternative. And actually, what I really like is that the boys like to drink it because it's sweet and fizzy. So they like to drink it, and I know that it's got all the probiotics in that they need as well. So it makes me very happy.
But I'm surprised that the kimchi juice is also fizzy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a fermented juice, so it's coming from the cabbage and things as well. It's all the mixture of all the the salt and everything that we put in and last week. And with the cabbage, which is the cabbage that is the lactose, that's the fermented bit. So the juice from the cabbage is producing that as well.
Mm. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, don't throw any of that juice away. Just drink it up. And also, what's quite good is when you empty your jar of kimchi, if you've got liquid left, you use that as almost like a starter when you make your next lot.
Okay.
Because that's, some people use starters. They put a probiotic capsule in with their sauerkraut or something like that, but you don't really need to. You can just use a little bit of the leftover juice from the last batch that you made, and so it goes on. Or you could just start them from scratch. Because being out in at room temperature, then that works as well with the cabbage.
All right.
Yeah, so you're getting an easier digestion. You've already noticed some differences, so that's good. That's only kind of 2 weeks in, and just maybe just starting drinking or taking some of the probiotic foods. That's good. The recipe that we're making today is a pickle, and the reason I chose this one is because it's so different from the kimchi and the sauerkraut. It's got more of a sweet base to it, so it's a very different flavour altogether. And what I'm using this week is apple cider vinegar, and in your recipe sheet I sent you a lot of the properties that are available with apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
You're familiar with apple cider vinegar already?
Yes, I have it at home.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to drink that every day in hot water, and it's one of the best ways. I was just reading it again today because it's one of my pet subjects about rebalancing the hormones, and it helps to not only help with the gut bacteria and things, but it helps to stop your cravings for sugar, and it helps with balancing insulin, one of the main hormones in the body that lays down fat around the stomach. So having apple cider vinegar every day with its pH balancing and its gut bacteria balancing, I mean, it's just like a superfood, and it's one of the ingredients that we're going to be using today. So this is just another way of getting more apple cider vinegar into your diet as well. Okay. I'll start. It's so easy. The reason I've chosen these particular recipes is just because they are so easy to show you. Do you make anything pickled at the moment?
No, I used to do that, but I was not very successful because the how is it called? The small cucumber that you pickle here, this cornichon. The one we find in Finland are a bit too big and too full of water. So I was not successful with that. And I was not able, I didn't use the apple cider vinegar. So maybe I think that's the reason it was too strong.
Yeah, a lot of the traditional recipes use white vinegar, and they boil that with sugar and everything else.
Yeah.
Sure, it's perfectly good, but I mean, the way that I'm trying to kind of adapt a lot of the recipes that I find, and I adapt them to kind of think, okay, so how can I adapt that to be, a raw recipe? So that's why I'm using the apple cider vinegar, and I made some of this 2 weeks ago, and it's just delicious. I didn't know that it could be quite so delicious, and I've also, at the same time, I pickled some carrots with ginger and cardamom pods. So that was very different as well. So you can, I mean, there's a whole load of things that you can just get into pickling. So what I'm going to do here with the fennel bulb, and you probably like fennel because it's very popular in France. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to strip down into thin layers, thin slices. So I'm just making them so that they're thin little strips like that, which will go in the jar. So, do you have any questions, Anne?
No, I'm just, I just I looked your video from last Thursday, which was the life without diet.
Diets.
Yeah, and I was very touched with
Did you try it?
with the tone of the video, and I was also touched by the questions.
Aha.
So I've somehow felt a bit troubled by the questions and challenged.
Troubled or challenged, or both?
Well, both of them. I was surprised about the emotion turmoil that those questions were bringing.
Yeah, in a way, that's the whole point, because one of the angles that I'm very fond of coaching in is the emotional side, because it's not sometimes until we understand the emotional reasons why we have certain habits or why we view things in a certain way that we realise what we've been holding back from all this time. So one of the reasons I do what I do. I was in a very different place when I did that video, I must admit. I was really kind of a bit spacey.
Yeah, but it was great. It was a great moment.
Is it something that you're used to, those kind of meditation kind of visualizations, or not?
I know how to do it, but I don't want to face it. So this is something, because it's something that it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
So I am fighting those emotions. So
that's interesting. All right. And I would also always like to know why you're fighting them. But
well, that's another discussion.
It's a total other discussion. I have certain clients that I work with, and some of them I can take them straight in and do something like that, and other times it takes about a month of doing other things before they feel, or I feel, that they're comfortable to to go there, because it's a completely different place.
Yeah.
What I'm doing here is I'm just taking the zest off the lemon, and I'll use the juice as well, but the zest is what makes it really, really lemony. Yeah, with those videos, the Life Without Diets, it is my intention to kind of show what the next place is that you can go. It's not just about what you eat. It's everything that's behind it, and more or less, I mean, it's like when we did the first poll, and it's the questions that really kind of get you considering and thinking and curious. By the way, I've soaked these lemons in bicarbonate of soda. These are biological lemons, but just in case there's anything on the skin, that's what I do with apples and things like that as well. It helps take a lot of anything that's on the skin, take it off. I think also once we start changing our diet, when we start lightening it up with the kind of things that we're doing now and adding in more fresh foods and things like that, and more fibre, our body actually starts to react in a different way, and it makes us more sensitive. If we're having a lot of heavy food, I think we spoke about this on the retreat as well, I'm always talking about it, but when you're eating a lot of heavy foods, you don't really have access to that part of your gut intuition. because it's all a little bit clogged up. So when we start changing our diet and changing our foods, it's often one of the first things that we start becoming very curious about, or for some reason we get more sensitive or more drawn into doing other things, listening to our body a little bit more. What I always try and get people to do is eventually start asking their body, what is it that the body really wants to eat? Hence remember that perspective of seeing the gut as a different living organism. So you're actually able to tune into your population in your gut and find out what's best for them. So we're talking about the food, the gut health, as well as your emotions. Okay, we've also got pepper. I'm just going to mix all that up. I'm just going to squeeze the lemon in another jar, and I can mix up with the honey, and I can mix it with the pepper. Try and make sure I don't get all the bits in there.
Yeah, I've seen that I have to be careful with pepper. It's also bringing me some discomfort.
It's bringing you some discomfort?
Yeah, so...
All right. So did you take all the parsley and herbs and everything out that you found last week were causing you difficulty as well?
Yeah, so I've been taking everything out, and I will start slowly to take one by one back. So
did you have to stop eating from the canteen then? Did you take your own food in?
Yes, I had to do that. But on the other hand, you know, it's a good thing because it's part of the food planning. So
yes,
it's much more in control of my food. So
yeah, you don't know what eating in a canteen is all very well, but you don't necessarily know some of the ingredients they put in and what kind of reaction you're going to have with those. I don't quite want to have that much pickle in there. More lemon.
and then I started enjoying very much the hazelnut oil.
Hazelnut oil.
Yeah, I really enjoy it on the salad, on the avocados.
That makes a nice change.
Yeah. So I have my small bottle of oil with me in the office. Nobody has asked what it is, but I have it with me.
You're going to be the office freak shortly.
No, let's see. You know, everybody's checking what I'm eating. I just don't care. So.
You know what? They'll be all asking you what you're doing shortly. They'll be going, "What have you done?"
No.
When you start to sort of change and a few things change for you, then you're kind of like they'll be inquiring. Won't that be nice?
Mm. Yeah. But for the time being, it's good because I have to take the time to bring my boxes and open my boxes. So I have to take time to eat. You know, I can't just go on, put things on the plate and rush in and out.
So by doing the whole preparation, you're putting a lot more effort and thought into it, and therefore you're being more mindful when you're eating it, probably as well.
Yeah.
Rather than just, okay, here's my food, scoff it down. I just break some up and I'll put some in as well. I'm going to mix some honey in there. I think I won't put as much in as here. On the, this is a quarter of a cup. I found the one that I made last week a little bit sweet, so. So we've got, at the moment, we've just got the lemon in there, the lemon juice, I should say, peppercorns, and honey, and we're going to be adding in some apple cider vinegar and then the lemon rind. And that's the basis for juice that you're going to be pickling your fennel in. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. So if you're sensitive to pepper, then just miss that out, or put something else in that you know goes nicely. When I was finding recipes, they were using orange, and I couldn't find any nice oranges. So in the end, I used lemon, and I just think it's so lovely. Right, I'm just going to mix some of the lemon rind in with the fennel so that it goes all the way down. They've put 2 tablespoons of oil in there as well. Again, that's optional. I probably wouldn't normally put oil in something I was pickling.
And what's the use of the oil?
I think it adds a nice texture and sometimes a nice flavour. And last week when I made this, I also decided that I didn't need to put quite so much apple cider vinegar in there. I just topped it up with kind of sterilised water as well. So once that's covered, certainly the juice of this I would never throw away anyway. I would kind of use that anyway. If you leave this out again for a couple of days, and then you can put it in the fridge. It's not that it really goes soft or anything. They softened up a little bit, but the ones that I'm still eating now, they're very crunchy, very, very lovely. Some lemon in there. Try and put some lemon down the sides. Kind of a lost art doing all these pickled vegetables. I know that when I had a garden full of vegetables that you can't possibly eat, this is certainly what I'm going to be doing with them from now on.
Tonight I couldn't find fennel, but I found nice carrots. So,
You found carrots?
Yeah.
Yeah, the carrot one I did at the same time of doing this because I just wanted to find out which one worked the best. Carrots, very thin julienne carrots. So like if you cut a carrot in half and then in 3s or 4s, and then the same sort of size ginger going in there as well. So like all the carrot and ginger, carrot and ginger, carrot and ginger, and then I put orange rind, orange in there as well, and cardamom pods. That's delicious. So as you can see, that doesn't take very long to prepare. And then what I'll do there is I'll weigh it down with something just to make sure that that stays under the liquid. And that's it done. I mean, that would then probably last. I made half the quantity last time, and that's lasted me about a week. So, and it's a very nice side dish with fish or something like that. A very enjoyable pickle. And a lot of the pickles that you see, it's the gherkins, it's the cucumber and things like that. But I was looking for something that was a little bit more exotic.
Mm.
How have you managed with some of the other self-care activities? or is it doing your yoga and doing your
Well, I've been busy these past 2 weeks with online courses in the
yeah,
evening,
yeah,
so I took that as a self-care
yeah,
activity.
yeah,
So this now I'm ready with this one course. So now I have to do something else, but I'm not yet been thinking what I'm going to do. But
yeah,
for instance, I try to take the time for myself, and I think that organizing the food is one big part of the whole planning. If I don't have to rush to the shop, I don't have to think what I'm going to have for dinner or to even offer for dinner to the others.
yeah,
It's much easier for me to have some time.
yeah,
But I also realized that this organization of the food also allowed me to organize my house homework better. So I don't have any laundry behind, or I don't have things to vacuum clean. It's much more in order now.
yeah.
So this
So
whole idea,
one thing's led to another, and they both complemented each other. Then.
yeah, this one idea that it's one thing to have agreed a table and try to tick. It's a good way of reminding that things have to be done. They just don't disappear. They have to be done. So
Yeah,
it's best to do it, when you're not too tired, when you have the time for it, and just get on with it.
yeah,
So that has surprised me, but yeah, it's the key, to organize the things and not give too much importance to one or the other. Just try
yeah. I
to.
mean, how's it going with kind of feeding the rest of the family? Then is that still falling on you, or are they taking care of themselves, or are they joining in with what you're doing?
Well, it is still falling on me, but there are some evenings that I'm saying that you take care. I don't care about you. I have my own dinner.
Exactly. Brilliant.
So yeah. So and yesterday, for instance, I decided, okay, we do not eat at home. We were visiting my daughter, and I told her, okay, feed us. So I was with my son, and I just went shopping, and just she prepared the meal. So that was to have this kind of relationship with the food, which is not anymore a must, but it's easier to share.
Yeah.
It's so different.
There's a big thing there as well, Anne, that I'm just picking up is that if you don't concentrate so much on whether the food is good or bad, if say like you were going to your daughter and she was cooking something and you just kind of went, do you know what? I'll eat whatever she puts on the table and it'll be marvelous. It will have a much better effect on you than having to worry about something or thinking, oh, I shouldn't be eating this or I shouldn't be eating that. Even though at the moment you're going through your elimination of certain herbs to try and find out what's going on in your digestion, a lot of the troubles that we see happening in our digestion and things like that often come from our thoughts about the food that we're eating, either that it's bad or it's going to upset us or historically it didn't work for us. So sometimes it's just letting all that go and just trying not to concentrate so much on the food, which is funny coming from me because I mean one of the things I'm educating is about the food. Your food can change how you feel, but also how you feel can change how your food reacts with you. Do you understand?
Yeah, and for me, these past weeks has been really much how I felt after the food. So I paid much more attention to that. Was it good? Yes. Do I feel okay? Yes or no? And to keep track on that, just not on a not with a pen and paper, but just discussing with myself, how do I feel after the food? That's also has been helping me to go on, from one meal to the other, because I could realize, okay, I'm not comfortable from lunch. All right, dinner I will do this and that, and I have been thinking of taking care of myself. As a consequence of the lunch, I have to do something for the dinner, and that's something new for me to go on like this, to construct one meal from the other.
What's happening is you're being very aware and you're being very mindful of what you're eating. So you're saying to your body, not just maybe before you eat something, you're planning what you can have rather than asking your body what does it want, but that's fine. that you're asking after you've eaten something, you're actually gauging, actually, how do I feel? You know, you can say, is my stomach upset? Is my stomach bloated? But you can also say, has it made me tired, or has it given me more energy? Do I feel it's satisfying, or do I still want something sweet afterwards? Has it been satisfying enough? You know, does my body still crave something else? So it's all those. What I'm finding is you start getting very used to inquiring from yourself, saying, right, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? And then what happens is your head and your body can actually reconnect, and they kind of marry up, and the body kind of goes, great, you're listening to me, I can give you some really valuable advice, rather than the head saying, no, we only eat this, 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 and this, and this is what we've always eaten. It doesn't suit us very well, but I don't know any options. And the body's there to just tell us, not just for food-wise, but for all sorts of other reasons as well. The body is actually there communicating with us at all times, but we've just been taught and we've learned how to completely discard any feelings that sort of come up from here, because feelings and emotions are, in my parents' generation and in my generation, up until, for myself, up until about a couple of years ago, you just don't go there because they hurt, they're emotional, I don't know how to deal with them, they're upsetting, they can provoke a reaction that I'm not comfortable with in this particular company. So if I'm at work or something like that, then mostly I would never have allowed myself to show my emotions because it's a sign of weakness. I was very much in a male-orientated business, so you know, a woman showing her emotions in any kind of way, or a man, would be ridiculed or thought less of.
Yeah, and I think, you know, being much more mindful is also helping me to the work, because I don't take the crap anymore from the others.
Yeah.
So, because I'm telling them I don't have the time to waste on this and that stupid things. So I'm much more focused on the goal to reach. And I'm telling
how you feel about things, Anne. So you'll set yourself great boundaries. So you know now what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good. So at work you can kind of go, that doesn't bring me anything, so I'm not going to do it. Or whatever the issue is, you know, if somebody's asking you to do more or go somewhere more, or whatever the issue is, you've decided for yourself, because you're being more aware of how you feel about things. This is what I'm taking from what you've just said, that you're then able to answer in a much more determined way.
Yeah, but it goes a little bit further than that, because, you know, I work with people, so we are solving problems in groups.
Yeah.
In a group, and, you know, I'm not always the leader of that group, but I can really see that if nothing happened in this work group, I am telling them, you know, very easily and openly, stop it, do something, stop hiding behind papers. So I'm not afraid of that, because my time now, I really feel, is too precious for these things, you know, that we are always hiding and complaining. So, I mean, this week I've been very surprised, because we have a lot of, well, not a lot of, but it has been a challenging last week. But, you know, I had no problem telling the people, you know, sit down, discuss it, put the cat on the table and fix it. And, you know, they said yes, yes, and I have no problem this week to call for new meetings and said, what are the actions you have been taking? You know, I want answers. So somehow organizing my food helps me also to not leave the things hanging there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just taking control of the things around me. And I'm very conscious about the time which is wasted. Somehow, I don't know if I have a reason to be concerned about my time, but at this moment, you know, I really need to use my time in a proper way.
Yeah. But I think
So,
also if you're thinking about reducing your hours at work, you're probably also thinking, well, then if I'm at work, I still want to be productive. So maybe that's also ramping up the fact that you're not going to take any nonsense anymore, and nor should anybody else. If you're within a company, then you make sure the job gets done. Whereas some people might just be there just to get paid, and whether the work gets done or not, it's not really their problem.
yeah. And so people have been looking at me these past days, wondering what's going on. But I don't care. I really don't care. I have been too much around there. I've been 28 years in the company.
Yeah.
So they should know by now that I'm a black and white person. There is no 50 shades of grays. It's.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. You might find a few extra surprises in there, but it's really interesting. What I often find is when you start organising or changing one aspect of your life, it's natural that it's a holistic way. So it starts overflowing into other areas of your life. So like you said, you start organising your food, you start feeling more organised at work, you take more responsibility for maybe delegating things else out in the family, or not being so bothered about what other people eat, or you start making different decisions, things that you would normally carry on doing the same way, but because you're making changes in one area, it automatically starts moving and making changes in the other area, with a big positive knock-on effect.
Yep.
Good. Excellent. I never got your Google PDF, by the way. I don't know where to look for that. So it wasn't attached to the.
No, I got the bounce back after a couple of days, so that it was not delivered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just send it. If it's a PDF, just send it to my normal email, and I can open it that way.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'll let you go. Let you have a nice evening, and let me know how you get on this week as well.
All right. Thank you.
All right then. See ya.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.